all the people that are involved in this in our beautiful Taranaki. We are putting our show on the Facebook group page, Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Please peek behind the scenes and join if you like to win some goodies. Today the giveaway is Burlesque 3 tickets, and my co-host is Michael Self are going to tell you about it.
Well, that's on tonight at the Mayfair Centre. It's so appropriate, Alina. One of the sauciest bits of theatre you could get to have starting up and for a food show. So you will have sauce today on our pasta. We'll have sauce tonight for your entertainment. Bring them all together, and what a day we've got.
Yay! And today we have a very interesting guest. It is a chef. He's a traveler, and he's the person who is known very well in Taranaki region, Zak Wilkinson from State Pasta. Hello, Zak.
Hello, how's it going?
Very good. So our host today, Michael Self, TV producer, actor, gardener, and foodie, and myself, Alina Williams, selfie queen of Taranaki. How about we listen to some music first? Michael, can you please tell us what is the music?
We've got Billy Joel coming up, a little bit of Piano Man, and Vienna.
Well, Billy Joel is not coming to our radio waves, so we keep talking with Zak Wilkinson from State Pasta. Welcome back to the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 with Alina Williams, Michael Self, and Zak Wilkinson. So Zak, you have chosen an amazing song which we couldn't hear today, which is Vienna by Billy Joel. Please tell us, why did you choose this song?
I love music from like Billy Joel's era, and that song particularly is one of the ones that even now I've heard it hundreds of times. It still gives me goosebumps. I don't really know what it is about that song, but I really love it, and it's a great one when I'm at work in the kitchen on my own, and I'll just put it on my speaker and sing along. So yeah, it's just a great song. Oh, is it playing?
Billy Joel! Awesome.
Oh, beautiful. There's a bit of your radio magic there, Zak.
Isn't it amazing? Someone switched it off. All right, so wow, I'm proud of myself because you have to think on the food. It's hard to interview at the same time as sort out all the other things. But yeah, we will be there sooner or later. Yeah. So this is a very significant song for you.
Yeah.
You just cook.
Yeah. It's just one of those ones I love having on when I'm playing, like cooking in the kitchen. Same with all the ones that I chose today, actually. But yeah. This is one of those classics that I think everyone who listens to the show will love.
Yeah. I'm sure that for cooking, it's important to have a rhythmical song.
Yeah.
Because you kind of go with the flow and go with the rhythm and so many other things. So yeah, it's quite fun.
Same as when you exercise, I guess.
Yeah, different rhythms though.
Yeah.
And I can think of some other rhythmical activities, but it's another rhythm as well. Funny.
It's more Marvin Gaye we want for that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their favorites. Rammstein, probably. It's a good choice for some people. So what music do you cook to, Michael?
Me, comes all sorts of things. Depends what I'm cooking. If I'm making pavlova, you need something intense, deep purple, or some really good Uriah Heep. But if you're doing some gentle, when you turn to the souffle, you need something nice and gentle and loving.
Yeah, that's right.
Something soft and soothing.
Yes.
I actually like to cook with the audiobooks. I listen to the book and I cook. It just brings me to a kind of like a fantasy world, and I imagine things, and my hands do those things. So yeah,
I can't do audiobooks. I'm not so good at listening to people talk.
Well, being a chef, you probably used to talk well rather than the other way. Is it like a? Oh, here's a little almost finished.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We are Olly Williams, Michael Self, and Zak Wilkinson, traveler and the chef of state pasta. So we just listened to the music piece, which was very special for Zak, which was Billy Joel, Vienna. And I know that Zak's nickname is Zak Attack. Why is that?
I guess it's just one of those ones that I had from a child, you know, parents growing up. When I was being a good boy, I was Zak Attack, you know, and then when I'd done something naughty, it's the full name, very, very loud. But yeah, it's just one I always grew up with. My mum and dad called me it, and then gradually my sisters and brothers started calling me it too. So.
Now you should be selling yourself as a fly spray and pest exterminator with a name like that.
Facebook says that you're from Congleton.
I am, yes.
Where is that?
So Congleton is a small northern English town. It's about 25 minutes south of Manchester and 10 minutes north of Stoke-on-Trent. So it's it's a little bit of a culmination of the two different cultures from those places, I guess. And if anyone knows Cheshire, they always think that I'm from like where the footballers' wives, the Manchester United wives live. And I
all this thing.
Yeah, is that why you had to leave? Did you get to know some of them too well?
Yeah, they were chasing me down in the street, you know, so I had to get away.
Well, that's a tough life on that one. But of course, you've got your Cheshire's cheese is one of the great things from that area. Now it's a real tradition, isn't
it? Yeah, and the Cheshire cat as well. But we were just talking about Cheshire cheese while the music was playing, and I was just saying it's nice, but it's a bit mild for me. It's not my go-to, definitely. But yeah, very nice.
Stilton man.
Absolutely a Stilton man. Yes.
Awesome. So you were traveling and you were eating. And a lot of things like that go together. There are lots of bloggers who talk about traveling and eating. So how was it for you before you came to New Zealand?
I mean, it was good. Like New Zealand, it's kind of a funny story. So I left England to go traveling. New Zealand was the first place I came because it was as far away from home as I could get. And then apart from traveling the North Island of New Zealand, and then I haven't actually been anywhere else yet because I met my wife. So that kept me here, and then obviously COVID last year has stopped it even further. Like I haven't even been to the South Island yet. I've been here for 6 years, so I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. But yeah, how food and traveling go together, I guess it's like anywhere you go, the best way to understand the people who are around you is by going and eating what they eat, or going to the local, the place where the locals go to eat. And everyone says that New Zealand doesn't really have a cuisine, and I think they're a little bit right. However, it's like there's still something about food here that really brings people together. And you bring up a pie, and I think collectively the whole of New Zealand will agree that it's basically one of the foods of the country. So yeah,
coming from Manchester, and you're working with pasta, state pasta, that's almost as far away from each other as you can get as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in my years of cooking now, since I've been in New Zealand, I did a lot of cafe cooking. So I started off in a cafe and then moved to Joe's Garage up here in New Plymouth. And again, it's just cafe style food. And then from there, I moved on and just started doing Asian cooking, which is probably even further from my Manchester roots than the pasta is. But I guess as a chef, it's one of those things where you want to, it's continual learning. I don't think even if you ask Gordon Ramsay if he knew everything, he would say no, because he's still learning himself. There's people around who will be able to teach him new things.
He needs to learn how to treat people with dignity and niceness for a start off, rather than vitriol all the time.
Rather than calling him an idiot sandwich all the time.
So what is the Manchester signature food? Is there one? Sandwich?
So actually, Manchester, or the areas surrounding Manchester, I guess, the Wigan is really well known for meat pies.
Oh, wow.
So going back to the New Zealand pie being a staple of New Zealand, I mean, as an Englishman, yes, the pies here are good, but I still prefer an English pie.
Yeah, but of course, one of those things that they use a lot in English pastry, and that either using suet or lard.
Yeah.
You miss using lard?
Absolutely. That's what makes it taste good. You know, like butter's great. Butter's great in everything. You can't knock butter, but when you're making a nice short pastry, suet or lard, oh, it's just another dimension.
You're not wrong there.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So I stalked you on socials, obviously, and I saw your wedding photographs. Your wife is beautiful. She has a wonderful olive skin, big eyes, like a deer's head. So, and she does she have some Maori ancestry?
No. So she's actually South African.
Oh, wow.
So she's a citizen here now. Moved here when she was 11, 12.
Okay.
But yeah, South African by birth.
Does she like South African cuisine and taste and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, South African cuisine, from what I know, from my wife and her family, is grilled meat.
Oh, yes.
So I mean, who doesn't love it?
Exactly.
Vegetarians, yeah.
Now I'm going to pick on you with your surname, because almost as though you've landed into your county of origin, because not far north of here, I hope you've been there, we have Wilkinson's Castle, which is an amazing building, and built by Mr. Wilkinson.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I only actually heard of this place yesterday from Alina when I spoke on the phone. I'd never heard of it before, so I'll have to look it up. But interesting.
Every door handle in the place is different, handcrafted. There's funny rooms. It was
cool.
One of the Chapman Taylor, who was a major architect from this area.
Yep.
One of his beautiful creations for the then Prime Minister of New Zealand.
It was a Wilkinson.
Yes.
It has an internal yard, like old castles.
Yeah.
So
like
the building
yard.
is like a perimeter,
Yeah.
on a perimeter, and inside, and it's really beautiful. It's far away, but not too far.
Yeah.
And it's kind
Whereabouts is it?
Just up near Mimi, about 35 k's north of where we're sitting right now.
Oh yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
maybe do a cooking event there or something like that.
Because I mean, New Zealand doesn't particularly have like a lot of historical buildings, I guess.
Well, comparing to England.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So
we call them abandoned dairy factories, not castles.
But comparing to the South Pole, we have lots of history.
True.
So I've seen that you have had cooking classes in the state pasta place. So is it a regular thing or is it one-off?
So I mean, it started off as a one-off thing because someone asked us if we could do it, and obviously we're going to say yes. These things are fun for us, fun for the customer, and it really helps us put our name out there for people who may not have heard of us or not thought about coming to see us, but they come in with a group of their colleagues or friends to come and do a pasta class, have a bit of fun, see what we're about, and then they'll come back, they'll bring their friends back. So it's kind of been something that, yes, it started off as a one-off just because someone requested it. And that was maybe six or 7 weeks ago. And we've done three classes now. And I would say they're sort of a beginner class. We haven't been doing anything too advanced.
But of course, to me, you could introduce that as part of the aerobic gym bunny circuit as well, because I remember interviewing a Italian lady, and she explained to me, she said, no, the making of the pasta is the reason that the Italian women have the fermenter busters. No, you've got well-developed pectorals. No, it's obviously could be something very special up there.
Yeah.
Feed in a workout.
Carbohydrate
boost.
Yeah. Come and work out. Feed up on carbohydrates to rejuvenate, and then work out again.
Yes.
So for our listeners who listen to us, to win the 2 burlesque 3 tickets, I suggest a challenge. Okay, so you can choose a word that they need to bring the rhyme to. So find the rhyme for the word. So Zak, this is your time. You can choose the word.
Okay.
They can rhyme something with, and then they can win 2 tickets to Burlesque 3 show tonight.
All right, let's stick with a foodie theme. I'll go down the road of steak pasta where I'm working. So let's go with something obscure that no one's going to go. I'm going to say let's go with pecorino.
Pecorino cheese! Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah, you have to explain what pecorino cheese for our listeners. We know, of course, but some don't know.
So pecorino is a famous Italian cheese. You've got the Parmigiano and you've got pecorino. They're sort of the two big ones. Yeah. And pecorino is sheep milk cheese. It's normally quite hard depending on how long it's been aged. But yeah, it's really delicious. It's like similar in flavor to a Parmigiano, but you've definitely got that sheep milk flavor.
And it's quite.
Yeah. You've got that less salt crunch to it. Yeah.
And another thing about cheese is used for the most disgusting delicacy in the world. This is used for being infected with different larvae, and this cheese becomes it's obscurity and delicacy at the same time. It is not allowed outside of Italy, so the only place you can eat it is in Italy. So when you eat it, you will see the oozing maggots out of it. So I don't know why Zak had chosen it. Maybe because of that.
It's not so far removed from eating hoo-hoo grubs.
True, yeah, true.
Except they're a bigger pot when you bunch into them.
And also, you're eating those on their own. So that's a thing. Why would you go and ruin a nice block of cheese with it?
So I'm really curious what our listeners come with as the rhyme for the word pecorino, and we are going to find who is the winner of 2 tickets to Burlesque 3 show tonight. And it's a wonderful time to listen to the second piece of music. Michael, will you tell us what is it?
Well, we've got Fisherman's Friends singing Keep Hauling, and of course, coming into winter, we've got to think about Fisherman's Friends, that wonderful lozenge. It's just had its 100th birthday.
Boogie!
Yes. Smooth transition.
Yeah. It's just so relaxing to have a co-host all the time who does all these things. And Warwick has been with the station, I don't know how many years. He has several shows on his own, so it's really easy for him. But for someone who is not doing it as regular as him, it's kind of.
He's on a beer trip.
I have to say that second transition, was spot on. Couldn't alter. The first one, however.
Yeah. Flashes. Do we have any comments yet? No, that's all right. We can keep the Burlesque tickets. I'll give it to Michael. Yes, pecorino. I tried pecorino once, and it was really fun. The greeniness of it actually got me.
Yeah, we use 2 different kinds of work. We've got the pecorino sardo and pecorino romano.
Okay.
And
Romano is more straight chin.
Romano is just a bit younger, so it's a little bit milder in flavour, a little bit softer. And then the sardo is, like you say, a little bit more grainy, a little bit more intense flavour.
Okay.
But both delicious.
So I believe that you are very busy because a lot of people talk about you. I've had some people from New Zealand Guild of Food Writers ask me about the steak pastas, and I said, I know. I'm talking about them as well. We will get them at the radio show and things like that.
Yeah.
So you kind of made your statement because you're unique and you do the gluten-free really well, I believe.
Yeah, so it's one of those tough things, and we make all of our fresh pasta. However, our gluten-free we don't make. It's one of those things where there's hundreds of recipes, but I don't know if you've ever tried one. If you've ever tried to make gluten-free pasta, it is very difficult to get anywhere close to the same as real pasta.
Yes, are you using rye or
for
gluten-free?
For gluten-free, like I say, we're not making it. We're getting pre-made gluten-free. It's not something that we have to do very often because I think people know that a pasta place where we're making fresh pasta and we're making fresh bread every day is not going to be, as particularly the celiacs, is not going to be the greatest place to come. But we do try our best for anyone who comes in, and we'll never say no. So and we're using a good quality gluten-free pasta. So
you can't develop dough at all.
No.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. It is Olly Williams and Michael Self. And our guest today is exciting person, Zak Wilkinson, traveler and chef of State Pasta. So today we are giving away 2 tickets to Burlesque 3 show, which is tonight. So Michael, what is this?
Well, burlesque, as we said, is saucy. You can't have pasta without a proper sauce on, can you? So it's a means of combining the two. Take the pasta along to the Mayfair Centre tonight and get a bit of sauce to go with it, and you'll come out with a lovely entertainment. You know, what time are you open to night, says Zak, on Saturday night?
We're open till 9. 9-ish. Yeah. 9 at the earliest.
Yeah. So
perfect place to go before the show, which starts at 8, right?
There's nothing like a good bit of burlesque where origins of striptease, all those wonderful things that keep us well and truly entertained.
So thank you, Sunita Torrance and Flash Mob Entertainment for giving us those tickets to give away to our listeners. So few words from what Zak is going to show us today as his food, because he brought some food today. So what did you bring us?
So I didn't bring any pasta because fresh pasta doesn't sit in a bag very well for this long. But I did bring along some of our antipasto dishes, and some of these are from our new menu, which we just launched on Thursday evening. So this new menu has got a big focus on. Thank you. This menu has got a big focus on, well, all of our menus have a focus on using local, fresh, seasonal ingredients. So this change came about because, obviously, with summer coming to an end, we needed to relook at what we're serving, because these tomatoes, the eggplants, the zucchinis, all of these things are coming out of season, the capsicums. And we want to be using these ingredients when they're at their best. So there's no point carrying on using these ingredients when you're just using subpar stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I like this word, subpar.
Yeah.
It sounds fancy. It sounds like one of those TV shows with the fancy celebrity chefs and things like that. So can you please tell us, what did you bring today?
So today I brought along some of our house-made pickles. We're getting all of the vegetables for these from a local small-scale market garden called 6 Acres. The lady who runs it is called Carla. She's amazing, and the vegetables that we're getting from her are absolutely sublime. I've also brought along some. This is kind of like my winter version of a Caprese salad.
Okay.
So, like I said, the tomatoes are coming close to finishing their season. So we thought we would cash in on the bounty of summer, and we got loads. Like, I'm talking kilos and kilos and kilos. I spent days and days and days slicing these tomatoes up and taking all of the insides out and drying them down. So we've got that. Like I say, it's sort of a winter version of a Caprese salad. So it's got the dried tomatoes, mozzarella, oregano, and capers, and it's just dressed with some really high quality olive oil and some cab sauv vinegar. I also brought along a fennel and radicchio salad with walnut and some gorgonzola, going back to the old blue cheese. Also brought along some of our new cold cut selection, a couple of salamis that we've now got on the menu, and obviously a tiramisu, because there's nothing better after pasta than tiramisu.
Yeah, exactly. And that beautiful thing that you've already said is that you're using local. The one that I did like, I did a bit of a spy on your menu.
Yeah. And
of course, you do stock a few local made beers too, which is a bit of a rarity outside of the actual brewery places around New Plymouth.
Yeah. So we've got one of the Shining Peak beers on, which is quite popular. It's really delicious. I really enjoy Shining Peak beers, actually.
They're very creative. They use the history,
exactly.
they help horses.
Well, I've got to put a plug in there. Jesse Ferguson, the brewer, was one of my year 10 horticulture students. So take full responsibility for
that's where his passion for it came from.
Yeah, definitely. He's a big person of a vision. He's a pretty amazing person.
So and then just to mop everything up, I brought along some of our house-made focaccia and a little bit of olive oil in case you want to
Well, this is really awesome. So we have 3 testers today. Michael, are you going to taste some food?
Yes, definitely. Well, I'm one of the people that think that pudding should always be the first course of a meal, and you take a little bit of pudding so that the kids think that the broccoli is the treat. So that little bit of tiramisu is yelling out at me. So I'm going to try a little bit of that. But the salamis and so on are looking pretty damn fantastic too. You know, it's and what I'm loving is that you've got that Italian feel, but you've got local things.
We're using all the I mean, I have to say there's certain things. We have a strong focus on all of our fresh ingredients being local, sustainable. However, you cannot beat, and you never will beat, some real Italian 24-month age Parmigiano. So obviously we use the real stuff.
Yeah. And which direction? Because they're so proud of their regions, aren't they?
Yeah. So this one is the manufacturer is Monte Cruzza, who
local or
no, so it's Italian. Yeah, Italian Parmigiano Reggiano. So yeah, they have all of their own cattle codes. So it's all ethically sourced milk, I guess you could say. So yeah, it was even when we're getting this cheese from Italy, because like I say, no one makes it the same as the Italians do.
No.
We're still looking at the companies who produce their products ethically and really well. So
is that a touch of sadness for you that we have Fonterra, one of the biggest cheese makers in the world, creating every pizza and Pizza Hut comes via the Taranaki milk, but we are not really producing cheeses that burst out as individual locals, are we?
No, but I would say that it's definitely something that since I've been in New Zealand for the 6 years I've been here, that I've definitely seen an increase in New Zealand cheese manufacturers, and they are getting better and better. But I definitely agree with you. Like, it is a little bit saddening to see that the biggest industry in New Zealand, which is dairy, is not making world-leading cheeses at the moment.
Which is strange, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's definitely the potential, and like I say, the people are really improving what they're doing. I was just saying to you before we were on the air that there's a guy in Mount Maunganui who is making gorgonzola. He's brought the strain of mold that they use to make gorgonzola to New Zealand and is making
probably
it.
Sneaked it in somewhere.
Well, yeah, probably. I don't know how legal the import of it was, but he's got it, so he can actually call his blue cheese gorgonzola because it's using the correct mold strain. So yeah, like people are the small artisan cheesemakers are starting to pick up their game. I've noticed recently that the EU has come out with this thing about not naming cheeses that are made outside Europe with European names.
The same as drinks. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So like they're really pushing for feta cheese to not be called feta cheese if it's made outside the EU.
Yeah.
So it's so I think it's giving New Zealand cheesemakers a little bit of a kick in the right direction, because they're going to have to start coming up with their own stuff, I guess.
So I would like Michael to fill his plate, because there are 3 tasters today, and including Michael, we are going to taste everything that Zak brought today and give him a really good roasty, honest review on air. Be afraid of us. Zak, I have seen some pictures of you doing dumplings.
Yes.
And there were like trays of dumplings. There were like many trays of dumplings.
Yeah.
And I love making dumplings. I can make dumplings Eastern European way, like Russian, Ukrainian, Polish way.
Yeah.
I can do Taiwanese dumplings, Chinese dumplings.
Yeah.
I can do
you're probably better than me then.
dumplings. So let's do a little bit of like a competition, but words competition. I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
So how many dumplings can you do in 1 hour?
In 1 hour?
Yeah.
So my record, and this was when I was down at Snug Lounge, my last job before I came to State Pasta. I did time an hour.
Yes.
I did 156 dumplings. And,
Wow, you're better than me. I probably do something around 100, 110 dumplings.
yeah,
So you're
that was still
154 dumplings. Wow, that's
110 is very good. Like, I worked with a couple of people through my time at Liverpool and Stanland, which was a lot of dumplings, and I'd say that's probably a lot more than a few of the people that I worked with there.
You have a very interesting socials, and I absolutely love to look through them. And at one of your socials, you have a selfie with the guy whose name is Russell Howard. So can you please tell us about that selfie?
So, it wasn't very long ago, a few weeks ago actually, he was here in New Plymouth for a show at the Showplace, and obviously being from the UK, I saw this UK comedian who I enjoyed very much. And I was working, so I wasn't able to go to the show, which is unfortunate. But then on a Friday night, me and there's a bunch of other chefs from around town, we all catch up for a beer. And I saw out of the corner of my eye Russell Howard getting out of his Uber at the hotel. So it's like, he's here, I'm here, I'm going to go and get a picture. So I stalked him into the car park.
He seemed very pleased. Maybe he thought that you was a local celebrity.
He was very polite. He looked very tired, but he was very polite and let me get a selfie. So thank you very much.
We live in an interesting time when food actually became a social thing, and the way you eat and what you eat becomes like a indication of your socio-economic strata you live in. So a lot of chefs became celebrities. Do people recognize you on the street?
No, I don't think I'm there yet. I mean, not yet.
All right, so everyone's imagined that pasta should go with cheese. This is a very kind of combination, like bread and butter, toothbrush and toothpaste. So is it true that cheese goes with pasta everywhere it goes together?
Yes. Like it's in most aspects, cheese will elevate a pasta dish. Cheese.
What aspects of cheese elevate the pasta dish?
So it's the saltiness. Like a lot of sauces that you do with pasta are obviously olive oil based, which is it's got a bitter flavor to it. That's just the way that olive oil is. And then you look at cheese, especially a Parmigiano or the Pecorino, which are both very, very salty. And it's a little thing that you learn very early on in your cooking career, that salt balance is bitter. So when you're making a pasta dish that is got an olive oily base to it, then you put the cheese on and it just balances out, brings the sweetness out of the oil instead.
Oh wow!
And vice versa, if you're putting a lot of cheese on something, then the olive oil will pull that saltiness back and turn it a little bit sweeter. So it's all about balance. But I think it's my preference is that cheese goes on everything.
Yes.
And that's not just limited to pasta. But I draw the line at seafood. And we've got seafood pastas on which the cheese does not touch. And people ask for it, and I'll do it for them with a bit of a look on my face.
Well, it's interesting because my husband shook his head because he doesn't like cheese, and he's in the studio now. Welcome, Kiri, to our conversation. He's waving. So he likes milk, butter, and cheese, but he can't eat melted cheese, even if it's slightly melted. Obviously, some chemical structure changes, and he feels unwell. So, what would you recommend to the person who are either intolerant to dairy or on special diet or just allergic?
So like I said, we don't put cheese on the seafood dishes unless some people request it. But so I would obviously recommend going with one of our seafood dishes. We've got a prawn fettuccine, which has been probably our top seller since day one. It's been amazingly popular. So that's a good option. And then we have a clam spaghetti as well, which also doesn't get cheese. Again, it's really delicious with a fish stock, white wine based sauce with chili and garlic. So it's all those good flavors. And it doesn't need cheese, and we don't put cheese. So those would be my recommendations.
Now, how have you done the language change from going from cockles into clams?
Living in New Zealand for too long.
But I mean, cockles and clams are different. So cockles are a specific kind. It's like they're one variety of a clam.
Yeah.
So, or multiple varieties, I guess. There's more than one cockle. But yes, I have to say there was someone who said to me when I first came to New Zealand that I don't speak English properly. And I was like, well, I'm actually from England. And they were like, oh, well, you don't speak New Zealand English properly.
You're just teaching
Which is the way God intended it to be spoken. We've got to be honest here.
So I would like to call our first taster, which is Olly, who just tried some of their, I believe, some cured meat.
Yeah, that was really good. I didn't have too much, bit full, but I'm sure the others can tell you about it. I had some of the bread as well, which was really nice. Had some nice olive oil on it, which made it much better. And yeah, the salami is just really good. Went well with the bread. Yeah.
And the second taster is Nathan Griffith. He is a social media manager, and also he is the person who leads the food review group.
Please be nice.
It's okay. I brought my plate over for reference. There's a lot on this plate, so very enjoyable food. So you've got some vegetables here that you've probably marinated. Is that true?
So they're pickled, yeah.
Pickled, yeah, because this one, the pink one, it's very watery and crunchy, which is nice.
Yep.
Complete contrast of texture there.
Yep.
The first thing I tried was the salad. And that had a lot of texture too. The second salad, which had the sun-dried tomatoes in it, it had a mild and flat taste. But of course, the sun-dried tomatoes have a very sharp taste, so that was very nice. And finally, let's see, the bread was nice, quite doughy, quite nice, quite dry. And the cured meat. So I spent a long time trying to think of a couple of words to kind of convey the taste of that, the redder one, which one of them has a more reddish appearance. And I came up with the words peanut and woody. And it's sort of I couldn't put my finger on it. When you tell me what the taste is, I'll say, that's what it was. But peanut and woody, sort of a woody sort of taste to it. But and I didn't get to the tiramisu, but I'm sure it's lovely.
Awesome. So those who know Nathan know that he loves food, and whatever he said today means that he loved what he saw today and tried today. So the third taster is our lovely Michael Sell.
I've got to just first of all come in on that cheese thing. The greatest heresy that has ever happened in New Zealand was mince and cheese pies and steak and cheese pies. There's no place in a pie for that combination, but I'm only a baker, I don't know anything. But I did love the pickles, the veggies and so on, and that's often an Asian tradition, isn't it?
Yep.
The clear pickles, and sort of somewhere in the background of a lot of European cuisines to use the clear pickles. So I think that's quite a fresh one, and if you've only just been pickling, some of them have got a little bit of maturing to do and lock them up.
So the idea was that there was a mixture of texture, like you said before, that the radishes are still quite raw, so you get the crunch and the raw radish flavor, and then the rest of the vegetables are a little bit further pickled, and they're also cooked in the liquid, so it softens them down a bit, so you get that mixture of textures.
And lovely, we don't often think of pickled carrots or anything like that, do we? And then your wee salad. With the dried tomatoes that you've dried yourselves, so that's got a lovely amount there. So I enjoyed those. And your bread, you making your breads?
Yep. So it's not a sourdough, but we retain some dough from each batch to go into the next one. So it's not a sourdough in the fact that we ferment the dough, but we do carry over a part of the
More
dough.
like
so
a traditional ciabatta approach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, we make it fresh every day. It's complimentary for the table, as much as you want.
Watch your waistline, eat as much as you want. So just a reminder for our listeners, if you find a rhyme for a word pecorina, which has been chosen by Zak, you have a chance to win 2 tickets to Burlesque 3 show tonight. So please use your imagination and find some rhymes for the word pecorina, which is the type of cheese. So you've been working in several entities in New Plymouth before. You've been working in the Snack Lounge. You've been working in the Little Glutton, which was before the State Pasta. So the new owners inherited you. Jade and Carl had you together. You're like a ghost of the.
So well, I actually left and came back. So I was at Little Glutton and I left and went to Snug Lounge, and then I came back from Snug Lounge back up to the other end of town, and it was a little bit because when I heard of the people who were taking over, it was for me seeing someone with like Carl coming in with this, very storied long career, international, here, there, and everywhere, working in some of the best places in Auckland, working in these amazing hotels in Dubai and Singapore. For me as a chef, being able to go and work for someone like that, which was for this town, is a caliber of chef that we don't have many of. So I approached him. Actually, I did a bit like you, Alina. I did a bit of Facebook stalking and approached Carl and asked if we could just catch up to see what he was doing with that end of town. And obviously, State Pasta was one part of it, and then State Bistro, which I think he's going to be coming on and speaking to you about another day. So yeah, it was for me, the draw card was being able to come and work with someone with such a wealth of knowledge who, as soon as I met him, he was just like, we're about using the best ingredients we can find, using our local growers, using things when they're in season. I mean, these are all just little phrases that are just music to any chef's ears.
Well, talking about music, his father is quite a well-known musician.
Is, yes.
Stuart Mondo. He is multi-instrumentalist. His saxophone skills are amazing. He is a member of several bands, including Taranaki Steam Band and also Quartet. I think that, so he's also a teacher for all these windward instruments, which is actually quite amazing. He's the one who started the steam band, I think, kind of like a great steam band, and then it just was inherited and developed further. So just before we wrap up, do you still cook at home, or do you have enough of cooking?
I like to cook on my days off. So I work from mid-morning until late evening every day. So normally I come home and I'll eat whatever my wife's cooked. But then on my days off, I do enjoy tinkering around with things that probably I'm not going to cook at work. So over the last few weeks with the nice weather, I've had the charcoal barbecue going. Been teaching myself how to smoke on a Weber, which is it's been fun. But yeah, I do enjoy it. It gives me a chance to cook outside of what I'm doing at work. So yeah, it's still enjoyable.
Awesome. Let's listen to the third piece of music. Michael, would you like to announce it?
We've got Marco Road playing Glimmer, and that's off the Green Superintendent album. And we look forward to that. And of course, just one little thing, the state where you are is the longest serving single site restaurant in New Plymouth, I would suggest.
Is it?
It's the only one that's been there probably 120 odd years, I would suggest that's been there. It's the old coaching house. And
yep.
So it's a bit of trivia for that.
It's been through many iterations in those years.
Full state because it was government owned, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was all government. People all stayed there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been through what in the last 20 years. It's been through heaps of things. It was Breakers before it was Joe's, wasn't it?
Yes.
Olly, did you try tiramisu? You might like it. You don't like coffee taste?
I like coffee.
You don't like tiramisu? So it's like a coffee cake.
What's up, guys?
Pickled egg. Pickled egg.
Fish and chip shop classic.
Yeah.
Michael has a really good recipe.
Yes, I've got a big jar that I always do.
They don't do good things for the guts the next day, though, do they?
Oh, they do, but not for other people.
I never tried pickled egg.
Oh, beautiful, yeah.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
They're an acquired taste, though.
Yeah, or you go into some of the pubs and fish out with
IG
the,
jar.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I put everybody's fingers in
No,
there.
that's the flavor.
It's pre-COVID, of course. Yeah. Do you have any another announcement about the menu change? We're going to talk just after the song.
Yep, can do, yeah. We're just going back to your salamis.
Do you feel? Yeah.
Can we wait until the end of the show?
Yeah, it's with salamis.
Yeah.
The red one is ventricina, and the other one is felino. And they're all.
Such a woody taste.
I couldn't
Those
tell
two
you.
words weren't quite right. I was trying to.
Probably the smoking process when it hangs.
Smoke. It's probably smoke.
But I mean,
Wood,
it's
yeah.
a gold smoke. They hang it in
Smoke. Yeah.
And the fermentation.
Yeah, that's what it is. I tell you, and in all seriousness, this is some of the highest quality food I've tasted besides the bread. And some of the best.
So I brought the bread because you need bread.
Yeah.
However, I was gutted because the bread that I had available was not the bread fresh.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41.
It's my bad.
It is Olly Williams, Michael Self, and Zak Wilkinson in the studio. Zak is amazing chef from the State Bistro and Traveler. We also have two tickets today to Burlesque 3, and you have to find a rhyme for our word that Zak had chosen today, which is pecorino. Do we have any entries today? All right, we might keep the tickets then. Zak, you said that there are some new things. Your restaurant didn't open long ago, it's only recently, but you already changed the menu. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so going back to what I was saying earlier on about using ingredients when they're in season. We haven't been open very long. I think we've been open for 6 months, but we've been through now already maybe 2 or 3 different iterations of the menu, and we print in house so that we can make a change overnight. If we are using something and then our supplier says, "Hey, the season's finished," we're like, "Fine, what have you got? What can we take from you now? What's the best ingredients for right now?" And that comes back to these pickles with the vegetables from Six Acres Farm. We don't go to her and say, "I want this." We go to her and say, "What have you got? What's ready?"
Wow, that's
So
cool.
that's why our menu changes quite frequently, or at least some dishes change quite frequently. We have the staples on the menu, like I said, the prawn fettuccine, the chicken ravioli. They stay on the menu because they're the staples. It's what people, basically every table will have one of those dishes. But yeah, everything has a time of the year where it's at its best. So we use it when it's at its best, and as soon as it's not its best anymore, we look for the next thing that's its best.
And that's an amazing strength and part of that European tradition, isn't it? That even having a few herb gardens out the back of the kitchen that you're cutting fresh, non-stop, and properly maturing herbs. But we're going to see anything like wintergreen beers or anything put onto the menu? That tradition of the fortified beer for middle of winter.
Talking about beer, I'm maybe not the right person from State Pastor to ask about that. But I mean, never say never to these things, So I don't have too much to do with the alcohol side or the drink side of things, apart from tasting them to make sure that they're good. But we'll see.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. And a few words from our sponsor, Area 41 on Brougham Street. Bottomless brunches during weekends. $60 per person for minimum 2 people on a set time and a set menu. Certain drinks are included. Inquire on their website or socials. Bookings are essential. Thank you for listening to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Now we are going to take some selfies and post them on Instagram and Facebook. Tune in to 100.4 FM every Saturday at 4 p.m. Remember, there is a live recording of this interview online on Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 group page on Facebook, also on Instagram. also on YouTube and Twitter. Meet you next Saturday, 4 p.m. on Airwaves. Bye-bye, my gourmetarians. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, we'll see you later.